Their 2018 royal wedding captivated billions of people. The world saw a fairy tale, but then came the family fallouts, exposed secrets, and behind-the-scenes drama. Harry and Meghan's dream love story looks very different now. At the time of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding, many were excited to see the formation of a fantastic foursome, with the newlyweds joining Prince William and Kate Middleton as the next generation of the royal family. Though there had been some rumours about how the royals really felt about Meghan entering the fold as an outsider, many people thought that she'd formed a strong bond with her new sister-in-law, and that the two women would be a force to be reckoned with. Despite some smiling public appearances, the world would later learn there was tension. Reports claimed Meghan made Kate cry over a dispute about dresses, including the one worn by Princess Charlotte.
The narrative about, making Kate cry, I think was the beginning of a real character assassination, and they knew it wasn't true.
But as Meghan later told Oprah Winfrey, that was far from the truth.
Specifically, did you make Kate cry?
No.
According to Meghan, Kate had been the one to make her cry. Yet when tabloids made their opposite claims, no one protected Meghan by coming out with the true story.
And people around you knew that that wasn't true.
Everyone in the institution knew it wasn't true.
So why didn't somebody just say that?
It's a good question.
At the time of the wedding, not many people suspected that anything like this had gone on behind the scenes.
It was a really hard week of the wedding, and she was upset about something, but she owned it and she apologized.
Since the royal family is notoriously tight-lipped about drama, Kate never responded publicly to Meghan's claims. But the story added fuel to the growing narrative that things weren't nearly as warm behind the scenes as they appeared, and the tabloids had not been kind, to say the least.
And also thank you for asking, because not many people have asked if I'm okay.
Still, Meghan seems to want that narrative to disappear completely.
If you love me, you don't have to hate her. And if you love her, you don't need to hate me.
When Prince Harry and Meghan got engaged, King Charles, then the Prince of Wales, was said to be delighted, according to the official announcement from Clarence House. But as wedding planning got underway, Meghan's personal life took a turn. Her father, Thomas Markle, not only fell ill, but also betrayed her trust by staging paparazzi photos against her wishes. Meghan made the difficult decision to cut him out of her life, which left a big question. Who would walk her down the aisle?
Harry's dad is very charming.
She decided to have a heartfelt conversation with Charles.
I've lost my dad in this. So, him as my father-in-law was really important to me.
Clearly, that talk went pretty well.
So I asked him to walk me down the aisle, and he said yes.
It was a meaningful moment, and a break from tradition, as Charles stepped into a role once reserved for the bride's dad. Looking back, it's hard to believe how close Charles seemed to be with his son and soon-to-be daughter-in-law. Within 18 months of that special moment, a deep rift had formed. Harry and Meghan stepped down as senior royals and left the UK, and to this day, their relationship with King Charles remains strained. For those who believed Meghan had always planned to pull Harry away from royal life, there were early signs suggesting otherwise. One detail often overlooked: her wedding veil.
It was important for me, especially now being a part of the royal family, to have all 53 of the Commonwealth countries incorporated.
Meghan had 53 flowers embroidered into the design, one for each Commonwealth country, as a symbolic tribute to her husband's heritage.
And I knew that it would be a fun surprise as well for my now husband, who didn't know.
She said that Harry was over the moon to find out she made that choice for their big day.
And I think the other members of the family had a similar reaction and just appreciation for the fact that we understand how important this is for us and the role that we play.
From the outside, it looked like Meghan was making every effort to embrace the traditions she was marrying into.
Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty.
But that optimism didn't last long. As the pressures of royal life increased, especially during her first pregnancy, Meghan says she fell into a deep depression.
My British friend said to me, I'm sure he's great, but you shouldn't do it, because the British tabloids will destroy your life.
In her 2021 interview with Oprah, Meghan admitted that she even had extremely dark thoughts about her existence. Harry, seeing how dire things had become, felt they needed to make a drastic change. That decision led the couple to step away from their royal duties and leave the UK entirely. It shocked much of the world, but for them, it may have been the only way forward. As Meghan stood with Prince Harry on the world stage that day, her friend Jessica Mulrooney seemed to be right by her side. Mulrooney was more than a guest. Her kids were part of the bridal party, and she even sat in the first row at the wedding chapel. their friendship looked solid. Meghan's jeweler had told People magazine in 2018, Mulrooney was dressed in blue and wearing blue sapphire earrings, so it was almost that she acted as Meghan's something blue. But just 2 years later, the image shifted. In the wake of their bond fracturing, headlines began using words like fallout, split, and estranged. By 2020, the rift opened thanks to a social media scandal involving Mulrooney and influencer Sasha Exeter. Public reports suggested Meghan ended the friendship shortly afterward, and neither woman has addressed it in detail. The change from best friends to strangers only reinforced the sense that when you're in Meghan's circle, you're either publicly in or quietly out. When Harry walked into St. George's Chapel in his Blues and Royals uniform, it wasn't just for show. It reflected his years of military service and personal pride. William Skinner of Savile Row tailor Dejan Skinner told GQ the ties and the connections that he has with that regiment and the people that he served with, particularly in Afghanistan, it's very much a strong family atmosphere. Harry's time in the army meant a lot to him, as he later emphasized in his memoir Spare. In addition to the titles he earned, Harry had also been honored with several ceremonial roles from Queen Elizabeth II, including Commodore-in-Chief of Small Ships and Diving, Honorary Air Commandant of RAF Huntington, and Captain General of the Royal Marines. But in 2021, after stepping back from senior royal duties, he lost those titles. It was his father, King Charles, who made the call, another symbolic break in the relationship. Still, Harry has stayed close to the military community through the Invictus Games. Speaking to ABC News, he said, "Once you leave the military from a uniform standpoint, you never leave the community. To be amongst this community and have a laugh, have fun, no matter which nation they're from, the banter is the same. I get a little bit of energy being around these guys." If you ask Prince Harry what his grandmother thought of Meghan, he'd likely tell you that the two got along swimmingly and that he received his grandmother's blessing to marry the woman he loved. Though photos of Queen Elizabeth II at the royal wedding didn't seem too cheerful, one could argue that her unwavering expressions were simply part of the role she played as the matriarch of the royal family. Now, several years after Harry's wedding, there's been a bit of a bombshell report of someone very close to the prince who may not have been too thrilled with the union. That person? Prince Philip, Harry's grandfather. In the book The Royal Butler, My Remarkable Life in Royal Service, author Grant Harold made a relatively bold claim about Philip, who died in April 2021. Harold wrote that Philip couldn't wait for the ceremony to be over, saying to his wife, "Thank f*** that's over." The comment suggests that Philip wasn't a big fan of Meghan's and that he wasn't in support of his grandson's choice in romantic partner, let alone wife. Although neither the Queen nor her husband ever spoke ill of Markle publicly, there have been rumours that they didn't care much for the former actress. Hey, maybe the prince was just tired, but if what Harold wrote in his book is legit, it's possible those rumours may hold some truth. On the day of Harry and Meghan's wedding, everyone presumed that it was the only ceremony the couple had to exchange vows, right?
You know, 3 days before our wedding, we got married. No one knows that.
Now we know that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex had a mini ceremony in their backyard before the royal wedding.
We called the Archbishop and we just said, look, this spectacle is for the world, but we want our union between us.
Her comments got some attention, with many people surprised that the two went against tradition in such a major way, and the Sussexes ended up clarifying days later. A spokesperson told Today that the pair privately exchanged personal vows a few days before their official legal wedding on May 19th, suggesting that there was nothing official or legally binding to what happened before their vow exchange at St. George's Chapel. It makes sense they would want to do something special, unique and private, given how they've chosen to live their lives post-wedding. By the time Harry and Meghan publicly exchanged vows, their relationship had already gone global. From being set up by a mutual friend in the summer of 2016 to a secret year of dating before going public, their romance moved quickly and under constant public pressure. Even their engagement in the garden of their Kensington Palace cottage became front-page news. Their wedding was watched by nearly 2 billion people worldwide and covered in obsessive detail. But that very spectacle was never what they wanted. In his memoir Spare, Harry reflected on how different they had hoped the whole thing would be. He wrote, "The palace couldn't seem to pick a date or a venue. While they waited for a decision, the couple came up with their own vision. Harry recalled, "We wanted to explore, barefoot in Botswana, with maybe a friend officiating. That was our dream. But those hopes were quickly dashed. As Harry put it, "We were expected to share this moment with other people. It wasn't up to us." Looking back, it's easy to see why they craved something quieter. Between the family tension, the media frenzy, and their own desire for privacy, the idea of a low-key wedding made sense. They didn't get to elope, but the way their story has unfolded since suggests they've always been charting their own path, even when the rest of the world expected a fairy tale.